Welcome back to my channel, guys. I'm really excited to get into the content for this week. This week, I am starting what's going to be either a 4 or 5 part series. I have 5, but I think I'm going to probably try to condense 3 of them into 2 because it's just easier. But we're going to talk about leverage. This is so important because a lot of people are finally adopting the leverage mindset, which as a business owner, I am excited about because we have to stop looking at leverage as a reward and look at leverage as a scalability plan. It is the reason that your business grows. It is not what happens when you grow and then the reward is leverage. You have to think about your business from a leverage mindset. So we're going to get into all that in this content. However, if your first inclination when you feel overwhelmed, stressed, or like something is not working in your business is to hire somebody, I think that mindset is going to be the reason that leverage doesn't really benefit you the way it can. So we're going to talk about what is leverage and how to use it to your advantage as a real estate agent. So I would say this video is for people that probably been in real estate. It could be somebody just starting out, but maybe 1 to 2 years, you're making a little bit of income and now you're trying to figure out how to grow your business, which I commend you for. But let's get into this. My name is Chizette Cowan. I am the CEO of Real Estate. I help real estate entrepreneurs or business owners become the CEOs of their business. I help them do that by thinking about their business from a systematic perspective that they can use it to grow incrementally, strategically, and scale it to where the business becomes an asset to them, an asset that funds, not runs their life. If you have followed me for any amount of time, you know that when I first started real estate, I was hustling. And I really thought that was the way to do it. But thank God that he helped me discover a grace over grind method. And I discovered that grinding is not the way to wealth in real estate. It will make you money, but it will not build you a legacy. And that's what we're going to talk about in this video. We're going to talk about how leverage is really the key to growing your business. And systems are leverage. Tools are leverage. People are leverage. So we're going to talk about that in the context of this video. So before we get into it, make sure you are subscribed because this is going to be a 4 to 5 part series. So if you are getting this information and you find it beneficial and you miss the next information, then that's on you. So subscribe, tune in, and let's get into this. Now, before we get into the content, we have to start with defining leverage. Everybody has a different idea of leverage. Everybody has a different way they see leverage, or should I say a different definition of leverage. However, before you tap into leverage, you have to look at how you define it and make sure you're defining it in a way that will help you grow your business. Leverage is not about getting help. Hear me on that. Leverage is not help. Leverage is about multiplying your output without multiplying your effort. Translation, get more done in less time. Translation, get more done without having to be a slave to the clock. Translation, get more done without having to hustle, keep time away from your family, keep time away from the things that you love, be broke, tired, disgusted because you're always running after clients, chasing clients. So that's why the first step to real leverage, and defining it again, multiplying your output without multiplying your effort, the real first step is systems. The real first step is systems. And I'm going to break down how leverage happens. Get a paper and a pad because this is going to be something you want. I believe people grow into the conversations that you have around them. I believe the more you hear the same content, which is why I'm doing this in a 4 to 5 part series, the more you hear the same information, the more you can get from it because we grow into the conversations people have around us. So leverage happens through 3 things: systems, tools, and people. Leverage, and we're going to talk about those 3 things in this video. Leverage through systems is your step-by-step playbook. Leverage through tools is your automation, tech, and amplifiers. Leverage through people are the executors of the system, not the creators of it. So if you are one of those realtors that said, I'm going to hire somebody to help me build systems, stop it. They're the executors of the system that you create. They don't create the systems for you. Why? Your systems should be a byproduct of your vision as the business owner. Nobody else can do that for you but you, because you know how you want your business to look. For me, I created my business to have time freedom. That's why everything in my business functions without me. Nobody else can do that. They can put systems in place, but they can't create systems that pull me out of the business, because that's my desire. So you have to understand what leverage is, and I'm going to repeat it because, again, repetition is how we learn. Leverage is about multiplying output without multiplying effort, meaning you can do more with less. We leverage through systems, tools, and people. That's how leverage happens. The systems are your first source of leverage. If you are stressed in your business, you don't need to hire somebody until and unless you have systems. Systems are your first source of leverage. They're your first lever. The first thing that you're going to create in your business is systems. You cannot have people leverage unless you've already created, tested, and executed at a high level the systems lever, right? You have to. So for example, these are your, what we would call in corporate America, your standard operating procedures. It's what you do, when, and how. For example, if you're a real estate agent, when a lead comes in, you should not be trying to figure out how you're going to call, when you're going to call, what you're going to put them on. That should already be defined. Leads come in, they get put in a database, they get put on this smart plan, they get a call on this day, they get a text on this day, they get emails on this day. That should already be defined as part of your standard operating procedures, your standard business practices. This is why it's dangerous to hire people before systems, because the people are who you bring in. Once you have the systems dialed in, the people are who you bring in to execute it. Never bring in a person that doesn't have your vision to create systems for you. They are not going to do it because they are not you. The business has to have your imprint if it's ever going to give you the life that you want. The purpose of business is to fund our dream life, the life we have in our head, the life we want. That's why we got into business. Having somebody else to do this for you is going to fail you every single time. This is why most people are getting it wrong. Why? Because they hire people to fix a problem that they first haven't defined. Most of the time, you don't have a lead generation problem. You have a lead follow-up problem. A system will show you that. A system will help you fix that. And then once you fix that, you might discover that you don't really need a person. You need a system. So many times we hire people when we don't need a person. We need a system. The other thing is, if you are not careful and you hire people to help you create systems, the person becomes the system, and that's dangerous. That means they hold the key to your business. See, my systems are built around me. People could come and go because I got standard operating procedures. I can replace you with somebody else because the standard is done. The system is done. The way we do things is already done. That means anybody can take it and execute it because I've already created it for myself. See, what happens when you hire people to do that? They become the owners of it, and they become really like indispensable to your company. And early in our business, we don't want people to be indispensable. Why? Because you are the product. You are the indispensable person. So you want to create systems that people can execute, right? So you don't hand chaos to your VA. You don't hand chaos to your assistant. You don't hand chaos to your operations manager and expect them to run it. They can't. You are setting them up for failure. And this is why a lot of people hire an assistant and they're like, oh, she's not really good. You didn't give her what she needed to be successful. You didn't give her an opportunity to be great because you didn't have a system for her to execute. See, when she has a system to execute, she can take that system to the next level. And then that's exponential growth. The next thing is tools. Your business needs tools. Once you have systems in place, remember I gave you an order: system, tools, people. Once you have defined your systems, and in my coaching program, we start with building a base of a system. We build, we assess, we strategize, we execute on how to make it better, and we re-execute it until it gets to a point where it's working in order. So the reason why you have tools is because tools help your system run faster, smarter, better. Tools are like gasoline to your systems. but you have to have the systems first. There are so many people that are running around here trying to find a CRM, and that's how I know you don't have a system, because if you had a system, you would know exactly which tool that you need, because the system would dictate the tool. Let me give you an example. When I started in real estate, I was spending a lot of time sending confirmation emails. I used Calendly. Why? Because the system showed me how much time I was spending sending email confirmations, and I knew automatically that I needed something to take care of that specifically. So the tool that I chose was Calendly. Although there were other tools available, I chose Calendly because the system also included other follow-up emails that Calendly embeds. So I knew which tool to have because the system dictated it. Most people that are struggling with what tools to use in their business, they don't know what tools to use because they don't have a system. Tools help with efficiency. I want you to think CRMs, automation, schedulers, templates. If you have to send a follow-up email in 3 days to every client that you meet with, that should not be something that you do by hand. That should be automated in it. You should have a tool for that. And we help people in our program identify which tools they need for when. But you can never grow your systems without tools. Like I said before, systems like I said before, tools are gasoline to your system. It will set your systems on fire in the best possible way. So you want to make sure that you have a system first, tools second. Now let's get into the last part. And I'm giving you an overview because I'm going to break each of these down in subsequent videos. We're going to break down systems. We're going to break down tools. We're going to break down people. And we're going to do that in a way that helps you understand each. That's why I said make sure you're subscribed. But the last lever in this leverage series is people. Now that you got a system in place, you have the tools to run it, it's efficient. Now you bring in a person to run the play. All your person should be doing is running the play. Why? Because they will master what they have repetitively commanded or executed. If they're not doing things in repetition, they'll never master anything. So you hiring somebody to build systems is not going to help your company grow. What you're going to do is hire somebody that's going to be frustrated, because if they're really a systems person, they at least need a blueprint to get started. They can take it to the next level because, again, when they run the play, somebody that's systems minded will say, no, I can do this better. They'll add to the tools. They'll add to the system, but they need a blueprint to work from. That's why you have to have your standard operating procedures in place. Otherwise, if you don't, you will burn them out. One, you will micromanage, and you will lose time trying to get somebody to figure out something that you never documented. But you've got to slow down and document it. Listen, people aren't leverage if they're duct taping your business together. They're not leverage. They're leverage when something is in place and they can carry the torch to the next level. So this is why this matters for realtors. Most agents are stuck because they keep throwing people at a problem instead of building the foundation for their business. This is the whole reason that I created my coaching program, because you have to build your business strategically from systems and models to get duplicatable results so that you can put gasoline on it through tools and then now hand it off to somebody else. Let them run the play and you go vacation in Bali while they running the play. And if it's a real systems person, they're happy to run the play. They love that. They get off on that. You get the leverage you need because you built the foundation that you need for your business. And the person that you hire gets the opportunity to be great because you've given them a blueprint. Here's what you need systems for. You need systems for lead generation. You need systems for client onboarding. You need systems for transaction management. You need systems for follow-up. I have 5 incremental business systems that I teach my coaching clients how to build in their business. And these systems will help you grow your business and take it to the next level. And a lot of times people are struggling because they use leverage the wrong way. And in this series, we're going to help you get to the bottom of that. We're going to help you get to a place where leverage is really something that you can use for the benefit of your business. So here's what I want you to ask. Audit everything in your business. Ask yourself, do I have a documented system for lead generation? A documented system for client onboarding, a documented system for transaction management, a documented system for follow-up. If you don't, get going on it. Then ask yourself, do I have the tools to help me execute that system? Then ask yourself, do I know what I actually need help with before I hire? So for example, I recently, it's probably been a year now, I split my marketing roles. I have a marketing director and I have an operations manager. But before that, I had one person in both roles. When she left, because we had everything documented, we realized that this was really two roles. And I want to keep people in a specialized place because specialties garner more money. If you're a doctor and you're a general practitioner, you don't make a lot of money. But if you practice in brain surgery for, people with stage 4 cancer, then you're going to be able to command and charge whatever you want. So for me, when we separated those roles, it allowed people to be great in their zone of genius, but I knew what I needed. I knew that these things needed to get done, which gave birth to me saying I need two separate people. Now, I'm going to go through this and I'm going to have some free downloads and to help you build the systems, but I'm going to encourage you to start looking at your business like this. This is a business conversation. Even though you're a realtor, there's a business behind your sales license. You have to understand this. Every business has a back end. So you want to make sure that you're not ever hiring from a place of overwhelm instead of strategy. And listen, I get it. Drowning in tasks, I've been there, done that. Your phone is blowing up. Clients need things yesterday. You got to get stuff in the MLS. You got to get I get all of that. You still got to get ahead of that because the only way you get to the next level is through leverage. And I just gave you a definition of what leverage is, and I'll see you in the video next week. However, if you're looking for somebody to help you build systems, I promise you ain't nobody doing it like me. And I say that in the humblest possible ways because my mind works like a system. I help people pull themselves out of the business. You're not going to stop drowning on your own. Here's what I need you to understand. Leverage is why rich people are rich. Because they don't take time figuring out stuff that they can pay somebody that's already got a blueprint to do. I don't want to spend 35 hours trying to figure out how to create a lead generation system if somebody's already figured it out. I'm going to pay for it. Why? Because the time that I take figuring it out could cost me too much. So you guys have access to my blueprint program. I have tons of free resources. My email list is lit. So please get on it. There's a link in the bio. But consider getting help. And I say this all the time because my heart is with dual career agents because I was dual career building businesses for a long time. You definitely need help because you don't have the time to waste figuring stuff out while you're working. And your job is a funding source. Use that money that you're getting from your job to build this business so you can eventually walk away from that job. My name is Cheese Cowan and I'm the CEO of Real Estate, and I look forward to being your next coach, but I look forward to seeing you in the next video even more.